This is video 22 in support of the 3D Experience CATIA generative shape design application. I'd like to discuss the line generation using tangent to a curve option. And when you go to generative shape design, you will see that there is a wireframe tab, and in the wireframe tab, you'll find the line icon. Once the line icon is selected, this dialog box is open up, and there's a pull-down menu, and the particular item that we want to discuss is tangent to a curve. So I'm going to do two problems. One of them is a planar curve, essentially, and the other one is a curve in space. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's do the planar one first. I'm in generative shape design. So let me make a spline, for example, on that vertical plane. I will make a spline like so. Exit. All right. And remember this spline was in the YZ plane. Create a point on it. So point on that curve, for example, at this location. There. Okay. Oops. Somewhere there. Okay. Now we're going to go to line icon, point tangent to a curve. Look what it's asking. It says, where is the curve? Here's the curve. And as soon it didn't select any support for it. Now where is the point? Here's the point. Okay. And as soon as I did that, it drew the tangent line. You can see that tangent line. So let me make actually this thing extend further. Yeah. So what it's doing, it's creating a line that is tangent to that curve, and there's the distance, 60 millimeter. And there are other things, by the way, you can do. For example, if you look at the, if you look at the start offset, you can make it move away from that point on the curve. You see that? Right there. Let me go back to it. Let me put this thing back to 0. Okay, you can flip the direction, goes in the other direction. You can go symmetrically in both sides. All right, we flip the direction again. Now there's also the option of up to something instead of specifying the offset, up to something. For example, if there's a plane here, you can say up to that plane, extended up to that plane, etc., which I'm not worried about. Yup. That's pretty much it. So that takes care of this. Incidentally, notice that this line is also in that YZ plane because the curve was in the YZ plane. So let me get rid of this stuff and do a 3D case there. All right. View fit. Where are we? Right there. So I'm going to create 4 points in space and put a spline through it in space. So for example, let's go ahead and do a wireframe, 4 points by coordinates. This is one of them. So another one. Let me go 100 up and 100 in the X direction and 100 in the Y direction. So here's a point right there. Let's do another one. For example, I'll make this thing 150. This one minus 100. It really doesn't matter. I just want 3 points in space and 4 points in space. So maybe 50. So far we've got 3 points. We need one more. Now I'm not going to use 3 points because as soon as you use 3 points, you put a spline through it, it becomes a planar spline. Okay, so we need one more. And I'm going to do that. For example, I'll make this thing in 100, and I'll make this thing 0. Let's see where it is, right there. So we've got 4 points in space, and we go to wireframe, 3D spline. So let me select these points, 1 point, 2 point, 3, and 4. It is obvious that this is not in the plane, okay? And let me choose, for example, an arbitrary point on this. I can use any one of these incidentally, but I'd rather do a point on that curve. Point on a curve, on that curve, say that one. Okay. So these initial 4 points define the spline. This fifth point uh, is what I'm going to be using in order to draw that line. Remember, this whole tutorial is about drawing lines. So line tangent to a curve. The curve is that spline. The point is there. Okay. And let me move this thing out of the way. You can see that already it made something there. And it's a line that is tangent to that curve at that point. And of course, these other things, you already know what they are. This is the offset. You can start somewhere out there instead. You put it back to 0. And these are the different kind of lines that you can make. Infinite in both direction. And there we are. Notice that there was no need to select the support here because the line is in the direction of the tangent to the curve, which is unique. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is in the direction tangent to the curve in space, and that takes care of this